is by not being willing to talk about our differences and try to make progress. And if everyone cares about ending racism, and I believe they do, if everyone cares, they should have been here. They should have been here to talk, and they should have been here to listen. Now, I know, and you know, that this isn't an easy problem to solve. And there are some who are here today, or others who are listening to us over radio or television, who are going to say, well, what is all this business about talking? What can talking do to solve the problem of racism? Well, I will tell you, when you talk, particularly if you listen, you get to know each other. This man, Council President John Street, back in 1991, when I was running for mayor, I urged the voters of his district to elect somebody else, because I thought he was the meanest, most ornery person I had ever listened to. Then when he won the primary and I won the primary, people said, well, you guys have got to get together. And I shook my head and said, let me find some way to not make that happen. Well, we won the general election, and he was elected council president. And I made the call, and I said, John, I think we ought to meet once a week at least, and I'm willing to come up to your office. And he said, sure. And we met. And those first several meetings were like two boxers feeling each other out. But over the course of the last 5 years, we have gotten to know each other. We have gotten to respect each other. We have gotten to respect each other's differences. And wonders of all, we've gotten to like each other. And folks, it all came from talking to each other. Now, Councilwoman Verna and Representative James will tell you that last summer, before the attack on Mrs. Williams, before the murder of the Brinkman boy, before any of this year's incidents in Grays Ferry, last summer, we had young black children and young white children in a camp program at Linear Playground, the same playground that today, at the end of the march, the speaker spoke at. And in that playground, those kids who didn't know each other very well got to know each other. They talked to each other. They listened to each other. They played together. And you know what? At the end of the summer camp, they liked each other. They liked each other. And you know, when the Rodney King verdict occurred in 1992, there were riots in LA, and there were riots in Atlanta and Seattle and New York and a lot of other American cities. But in Philadelphia, Council President Street and I took to the airwaves. Reverend Allen and Kevin Vaughn and the great people in the Human Relations Commission hit the streets. Pan hit the streets. Many of the clergy here hit the streets. And we talked and we said, we don't have those problems. We have problems, but they're not that extent. There are better ways to resolve this than trashing neighborhoods. And people listened. And there were alternatives on that day and the days that followed the Rodney King verdict. There were alternatives to racial violence. And Philadelphia stayed calm. And I'd like all of us today, in each and every neighborhood of this city, to take a step back and look at our problems. If you do that in Grays Ferry or Bridesburg or Kensington or Chestnut Hill or wherever, when you look at our problems, you'll see that the problems we confront, regardless of who we are, what our ethnic background is, those problems are the same. Their joblessness, their inadequate housing, their homelessness, their crime, their drugs, their breakdown of the family. Those problems are all the same. And if we understand that our problems far outweigh our differences, in Grays Ferry they outweigh our differences, in every neighborhood in this city they outweigh our differences, and in America they outweigh our differences. And if we can come to grips with that and understand that and begin a dialogue with each other, we can make a difference. So I pledge to you today that I will continue to work on that difference. We just haven't cleared a hurdle today. And Bruce Crawley was absolutely correct. This was a hurdle that none of us wanted to see happen. Not all of us because of the summit in 2 weeks. You all had different motivations for not wanting to see trouble happen. But this is one hurdle that we've gotten over. And I pledge to you today that I will continue to work on dealing with these problems. Just like we had begun in many ways in Grays Ferry before recent incidents, we will continue those efforts and we will redouble them and retriple them. And Bob, the conference you want held, we will hold. In the first week of May, I will be inviting every one of the speakers here today and many other people to join at a conference to proceed and make progress on the issues that we've been dealing with. And as mayor and as city council president, we have already committed to the people of Grays Ferry that we will attack some of the underlying problems that exist in Grays Ferry. The problems with facilities, the problems with economic opportunities, the problems with recreational opportunities. The people of Grays Ferry, like the people throughout Philadelphia, deserve no less from us. And if we stand together, we can surmount the problems of race and bigotry. And there is no better place for that to happen than here in Philadelphia. Because Philadelphia was founded by people seeking a haven from religious persecution, from people who were persecuted in other lands or other parts of this new country for their religious beliefs. Philadelphia was not only the birthplace of this nation, it was the birthplace of tolerance in America. Yes. And we should commit ourselves today to try once again to learn that tolerance, and when we do, let's teach it to the rest of this country.